Hey, welcome back. Have you ever walked into a store for just one thing, but walked out with like five? Or clicked buy now on a deal that just felt too good to miss? Well, it's not a coincidence. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the hidden science of your shopping cart to reveal the powerful and kind of sneaky subconscious forces guiding almost every purchase you make.
Okay, let's kick things off with a number that might just blow your mind. Get this. Consumer neuroscience research shows that a whopping 95% of our purchasing decisions are made subconsciously. Yeah, you heard that right. 95%. That means almost every choice we make is happening on autopilot, way below our conscious radar. And if that wasn't wild enough, these decisions aren't just subconscious. They're made at lightning speed. We're talking less than 2 seconds. That's not even enough time to consciously register what you're looking at, let alone weigh the pros and cons. So, how on earth is that possible?
To get that, we've got to peek under the hood at how our brains are actually wired. Turns out, when we're shopping, our brain isn't really doing a lot of heavy lifting. For the most part, it's just coasting on autopilot.
So, behavioral economists have this idea called the dual process theory. Think of your brain as having two modes. You've got system 2, which is your slow, rational, conscious mind, the one you think is in charge. But then there's system 1, and that's the real star of the show. It's fast, it's emotional, it runs on gut feelings, and because our brains are lazy and want to save energy, we default to this autopilot, system 1, for pretty much everything. And we're not just talking a little bit faster. The sheer processing power is staggering. I mean, just look at this quote from a 2025 analysis. 200,000 times faster. Our subconscious isn't just playing a different game, it's playing a different sport on a different planet. And that is the system that retailers are desperately trying to talk to. Which, of course, brings us to the internet. Online retailers have become absolute wizards at designing websites that slip right past our rational brain and have a direct conversation with our fast, emotional autopilot brain. And they do it with a whole toolbox of what they call digital nudges. A really cool 2025 study broke down the 3 big ones, and I guarantee you've seen them all. First up, you've got social proof, the little top-ranked or bestseller tag. Then there's monetary framing, that big, flashy 40% off sign. And then the heavy hitter, the urgency cue. That's the little countdown timer screaming, "Sale ends in 3 minutes." Now, they all work. They all make us more willing to pay. But one of them is way, way more powerful than the others. So here's the quick and dirty on the psychology behind it all. Social proof basically hacks our need to conform. If everyone else is buying it, it must be good, right? Monetary framing makes a discount feel like a super smart financial win for us. And urgency, well, urgency weaponizes our deep-seated fear of missing out, what scientists call loss aversion. They are all just shortcuts for our brain's autopilot system. Okay, so that urgency cue, the ticking clock, is the best at getting us to open our wallets. But does that make it the best tool? Not so fast. It turns out this super powerful nudge comes with a hidden cost, something you could call the urgency tax. I mean, think about it. For the retailer, that ticking clock is an incredible sales booster. But what's the trade-off for us, the customer? What's the real price we're paying for being rushed into a decision? Let's go back to the data from that study. On a 5-point scale, just adding an urgency cue boosted a person's willingness to pay by more than a full point. That is a huge effect, way bigger than the other nudges. It creates this powerful, almost irresistible motivation to just buy it right now. But, and this is a big but, here's the catch. That exact same urgency cue was the only one that also made the decision significantly harder. It made the whole choice feel more stressful, more demanding. Social proof and discounts, they actually made the decision feel easier. Urgency did the opposite. And that right there is the urgency tax. It's the mental and emotional toll we pay for being rushed. It's a total paradox, right? The very same tactic that makes us want to buy something the most is also the one that makes the experience the most stressful. So how does all this psychology actually play out in the real world? Well, let's take a look at the most important group of shoppers out there today, Gen Z. Because as you're about to see, they are a fascinating generation of contradictions. So a recent analysis from PwC shows that Gen Z is definitely cutting back on spending in a few key areas. More than half are spending less on restaurants and takeout, about a third on clothes. But this is not a simple story about a generation pinching pennies. It's actually way more strategic than that. They're practicing this thing called affordable affluence. Basically, they'll happily trade down on the everyday basics so they can save up for what they see as meaningful micro-luxuries. We're talking about that premium cup of coffee, a limited edition pair of sneakers, or a high-end cosmetic, things that give them real emotional and social value. And this whole strategy creates this amazing paradox. They are incredibly brand agnostic. Over 80% are totally cool with buying a cheaper dupe of a famous product. At the same time, though, they crave authentic, real-world experiences, with 61% saying they'd rather discover new things in an actual physical store. They're total digital natives, using AI to hunt down the best deals, but they're definitely not living their whole lives online. So, after all that, what does this mean for you? Well, just understanding these hidden forces is the first, most important step toward becoming an empowered consumer. It's like seeing the code in the matrix. Once you see it, you can start to navigate it on your own terms. And hey, it's not just us thinking about this. All these nudges have kicked off a pretty serious conversation about consumer rights, and it's starting to get the attention of regulators. We're now seeing laws like the EU's Digital Services Act, which is designed to crack down on some of the most manipulative online designs. But in the meantime, you can protect yourself with 3 really simple steps. First, just learn to spot the nudge. See that countdown timer, that bestseller tag? Just notice it. Second, create a pause. The whole point of these tricks is to make you go faster. Your best defense is to force yourself to slow down. Just step away for 60 seconds. And finally, ask yourself why. Do I actually need this, or am I just feeling the pressure from that urgency tax? That's it. That's how you switch off the autopilot and turn your conscious brain back on. So, I'll leave you with this to chew on. We've pulled back the curtain and shown you the science. Now that you know the tricks of the trade, is it going to change the way you shop? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.